All right, 5 people arrested during the protests in Ferguson, Missouri have filed a $40 million lawsuit against police. The suit alleges police used excessive force and made unnecessary arrests during the protests in the days after Michael Brown was shot and killed by an officer. The lawsuit lists Ferguson Police Chief Thomas Jackson, St. Louis County Chief John Belmar, and several unnamed officers. Also listed as defendants are the city and county governments. One plaintiff says she was arrested with her 17-year-old son while in a McDonald's. Another says he was just trying to visit his mother when he was shot with rubber bullets and beaten by police. This suit was not filed by Michael Brown's family, just protesters who were arrested after the shooting. Let's bring in our legal guys, Avery Freeman, a civil rights attorney and law professor in Cleveland. Good to see you.
Hi, Frederica.
And New York criminal defense attorney Richard Herman, and law professor joining us from, this time Los Angeles. You're all over the place, you guys. Good to see you.
Hey, it's been a long time, Fred.
I was going to say, I feel like it's been way too long.
Way too long, right.
Oh, man, we got to stop that. Okay, so
For
Avery,
sure.
you first on this. Does this lawsuit kind of meet the standards of a successful federal suit?
Well, barely. Here's the problem. There was such a rush to get this case filed that the lawyers for the plaintiffs, in my opinion, missed all the major claims under the Constitution of the United States. Missed them all. Missed the First Amendment claim, missed the due process claim. It's not in there. The case was rushed to federal district court, and on top of it, the civil plaintiffs are all criminal defendants. And ordinarily, in federal civil rights practice, you get the criminal case out of the way, then you file it. So, given the sobriety and the seriousness of what went on in Ferguson, it was right to file the case. But the lawyers have a lot of work to do in cleaning the mess up that they got filed, and they have a right to amend. They need, like the NAACP or ACLU backing them up, get some responsible, experienced lawyers in there.
So then, Richard, if you agree with that, is it too late to amend? Does it make it messy to amend or even incorporate other attorneys at this point?
It's not too late. It's not too late, Fred, and messiness is not really like a legal term here, so they can
That's
absolutely.
my term. The non-legal mind here.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
I like your term. It's more apropos. But no, Fred, I looked at the complaint, I studied it. In my opinion, I think a couple of the causes of action are going to be summarily dismissed. And Avery makes a point that these are criminal defendants. Now they, in turn, bring a civil litigation. That means that their Fifth Amendment rights are down the drain. They're going to be deposed in the civil case that's going to lay the foundation for criminal convictions for them. And, anybody can file a complaint. You get an index number. You can make all the allegations you want.
And you're saying they're criminal defendants because they were, arrested, apprehended, and even though this lawsuit is claiming that they were, it was a mistake that they were apprehended, that they were innocent, they still have the charges imposed against them, and so it makes it very difficult to move forward to involve them in this now federal case.
Well, here
back to the non-legal speak. That's me talking.
One of the plaintiffs said she was at McDonald's, and she was arrested for failure to disperse, told to shut up, and she has an $11 million lawsuit. That actually isn't a particularly responsible way of bringing a very serious civil rights case, Frederica. You don't do it that way.
Okay, so then how
Fred, if you read the complaint, Fred, if you read the complaint, it's like, these are near riot conditions going on, and people are taking a lovely stroll down the street, and all of a sudden they're told to move, and they ask why, and they get arrested. And they get shot with rubber bullets. The facts are going to be severely different than what's alleged in the complaint here, I think. But again, I think some of the causes of action immediately will be dismissed.
Well, isn't it the case that, or at least in many jurisdictions, it's nearly impossible to sue a city? And in this case, it is, the suit is being imposed against the city, city leaders and county leaders. Does that already create an obstacle, Avery, for any lawsuit, even if it was spelled out as you put it, where there were real constitutional rights that were violated here? Aside from that, does it make it nearly impossible to sue a state or city or local government?
Well, in terms of punitive damage claims, the U.S. Supreme Court, Frederica, said in 1981, that's 33 years ago, that you can't get punitive damages off the city of Ferguson or St. Louis County. The lawsuit asks for that. So in respect to the viability of the claim, that goes right out the window. And the answer to your question is absolutely. Because of the Newport Facts decision back in 1981, it makes it very difficult to recover substantial damages off of municipalities.
All right, last word.
Fred.
Yes, Richard.
Fred, as a general rule, there is sovereign immunity. However, there are so many exceptions to this rule, and there's a flood of litigation against municipalities and cities and states. So there is a lot of litigation in this area, Fred. They could be found liable. They could get hit for substantial damages here. Will it happen? We'll see how this thing unfolds.
Okay, well, you know, it's been a while since we've all had a chance to talk, so that's why we're not going to let you go just yet. We've got another case that we want to tackle, so to speak, with you all, this involving the NFL as football season gets underway. We'll talk about that right after this. All right, the NFL is getting very tough on its employees who are involved in domestic violence incidents. It comes after Ravens running back Ray Rice was suspended just two games after he was seen dragging his unconscious wife out of a hotel elevator. Fiancé at the time, now wife. The league was criticized after other players got longer suspensions for drug violations. And something you don't see often, NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell said Rice should have gotten a longer suspension, saying this, quote, "I didn't get it right. Simply put, we have to do better and we will," end quote. So the league announced a new policy. A first offense will get a 6-game suspension. A second offense could mean a lifetime ban. The program is not just for players. All employees will be subject to the new policy. Our legal guys are back. Avery Freeman in Cleveland and Richard Herman in Los Angeles. All right, Richard, let me begin with you. I mean, I said in the intro, you know, tougher, I guess, penalty here, but I guess even people would argue that, whether this is enough. How compelling is this argument and this new policy?
Well, for in the outset, let's just step back for a second and think about what we're talking about here, that the NFL has to impose this type of stuff for domestic violence. I mean, where are we as a society or as a football league? It's just unbelievable. But having said that, you know, it's a step, and you have to compliment Goodall because he made a mistake. Everybody blasted him. We all blasted him for how light he was with Ray Rice, and so he acknowledged he made a mistake. He's trying to rectify it. He's trying to make things better. But you know, in the end, it's the criminal justice system that should take over and take the lead here, not the NFL. And Ray Rice got a slap on the wrist by the criminal justice system. If they get convicted as a felony conviction in court, that will destroy them in the NFL. So, you know, Goodall, it's great. It's a nice message. He's mending his ways. That's, you know, we have to compliment him on that. But again, the criminal justice system has to take the lead here.
So, but at the same time, while you say the criminal justice system has to take the lead, is it the responsibility of, you know, the league, this company, to also impose, I guess, tougher restrictions on the behavior of, you know, its employees? I mean, do you see the two going hand in hand, Richard?
You know, Fred, I don't know the due process that's involved with the NFL. You lose due process when you sign these contracts because they have these morals clauses. There is no due process in the NFL, so you can have harsh decisions without even having proper due process. I'm not so sure that this is, look, it's a nice statement. It's a nice message to send here. I just think the court system has to be the responsible party here.
No, Frederica, look at. The idea that the NFL did absolutely nothing and gave a guy who literally hit his girlfriend so hard he knocked her out. Knocked her out. Roger Goodell says 2-game suspension and says, well, you know, I might have screwed this up. So if you engage in a misdemeanor, a sexual assault, or first-degree rape, it's 6 games. How about if you engage in sexual assaults, you don't get to play professional football? I think he tried to split the baby is what he did, and it's inadequate, it's wrong, it's a step in the right direction, but I don't congratulate the commissioner. I think the NFL's got a long way to go in punishing sexual assaults. This is not adequate.
Yeah, because I think, Richard, you were inferring, I mean, there is an acknowledgement. The NFL is acknowledging that this is a problem. This is a thing that some of our players or our employees are engaged in, and so based on that, we now have to come up with a policy on
Right.
I mean, not trying to stamp it out or not trying to say this is completely, unacceptable, but now let's figure out a way how we can all work together, knowing that this is a problem that some people might engage in. Is that ultimately what the interpretation becomes?
I don't know, Fred. Is it epidemic proportions? Is it a problem? Is it pervasive throughout the whole NFL? I don't know. I haven't read a lot of articles about domestic violence by NFL players. So if it happens once or twice or 3 times or 4 times, you're going to impose, insane regulations against all these players here. And who gets the ultimate determination here? Where's the validity? Where's the validity of the complaint? How do you verify the truthfulness and accuracy of an allegation here in the NFL? That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
At least the court system provides that foundation.
So then, Avery, why wouldn't it just be a zero tolerance policy? Why wouldn't the NFL entertain that?
There should be. But what the policy doesn't say, Frederica, is it based on an allegation? Is it based on an indictment? Is it based on a conviction? What is it based on? What the commissioner said is, well, if there's sexual assault, whether it's an allegation or conviction, 6 games. And that kind of rigidity just doesn't work. If you engage in sexual assault, you're out of the league. And that's what the rule, I think, should be.
Okay. I'm still not sure if you guys are in agreement.
You're convicted of sexual assault.
Okay.
The only thing we're in agreement on, Fred,
the rule doesn't say that. The rule doesn't say that.
Right. That's wrong. Fred, the only thing we're in agreement is we missed you. It's been too long. And secondly,
that's for sure.
And secondly, I have to compliment Avery.
We agree on one thing today, Frederica. That's it. This
no,
is way too long.
And your tie, Avery. And your tie. Finally, you're wearing a nice tie.
I like it. Look at that harmony, you guys.
Mine's brighter than yours, Richard. So
I love. Oh, you're both very bright. I love that. Okay, and the feeling is mutual. Boy, have I missed you all. So glad we're back together again. Have a great holiday weekend.
You too.
All right. Thanks, guys.